welcome to your yoga class. My name is Jenny, and this is a core and restore class. We are going to be utilizing props. For the core part, not so much, but I will give directions on how to use props in certain poses if you'd like. More for the restore part, when we start to kind of slow the energy down and settle into more restorative poses, settle into some deep holds. So we do want to use props to support us there. So a block or two, as you can see, I like to sit on one. And if you don't have yoga specific a block or two blocks, you can also use hardcover books or something that's going to kind of give you the same kind of shape and support. This helps to bring the ground closer, or sometimes just to kind of fill in some space. Blankets. I am going to suggest having at least one medium-sized blanket. We're going to be doing some work on the knees, and it's just a nice thing to do for yourself to kind of cushion the knees. This can also be done or you can also be used to sit on, to wrap up in Shavasana. I will also suggest a larger blanket that you can roll up in lieu of a bolster. If you have a bolster, this is a yoga and meditation specific prop. Definitely grab one of these, but if not, like I said, you can use a larger blanket, you can use couch cushions, you can use a stack of pillows, but we want something, about this height. So it's about 5 to 6 inches in height and support. As we get to the restore part, you'll understand a little more of why we want to kind of recreate the shape and the structure. And then, any other blankets, cushions, pillows, maybe an eye mask that you'd like for your Shavasana, any other props that you like to use for your practice, anything that helps assist you in your body. And for class today, we are going to be focusing on the side body. So getting some stretching into the side body, building up some of the strength in the obliques and in the muscles in the back, the low back. Kind of working to not only bring some release there, because that, we'll be getting into the low back as well. So hopefully there'll be a little release of tension there, but we also are looking to build core stability, which is a little different than core strength. Both are very important. Core strength is more of like building those muscles, getting that, the 6-pack abs, not that that's our goal, nor should it be. But having that kind of strength for support. But we also want core stability. Since in our core, anatomically, we don't have very many bones, very little structure. We've got the spine, and that's it, in between the hips and the ribs. So we want to build this whole kind of corset here. All of these muscles we want to build up with strength and stability to help support the hips and the low back, so that as we move, as we bring in more dynamic movement, not just moving from the strength in the core, but as we, move through space, through our proprioception, we have the support of this, a little more tender space. So that's what we're going to be focusing on a little bit today, is this side body opening, stretching, and strengthening. So with that in mind, grab your props, meet me on your mat. We are going to start kneeling. So if that feels okay for you, this is where a little medium-sized blanket is going to be nice. Just bring in a little cushion for the knees, and even if you've got nice, young, healthy knees, just go ahead and pad anyways. It'll feel nice, and your future knees will thank you. And we are going to be pointing the toes down so that when we sit, the sits bones are on the heels. And if this doesn't feel good, you're welcome to fill in, maybe bring in a block or a blanket in between the ankles to kind of take some of that support off. And this may not feel awesome in the knees. So especially if you've had knee injuries or knee corrective surgeries, knee replacements, just kind of feel into this. And if it doesn't feel good to be on the knees, just come to a seated position. You could even extend the legs out if that feels better. But starting in our kneeling position here, just let the hands kind of rest on the thighs or alongside the body. Try to find a squaring through the hips so we have that nice stable stability there. And then lengthen up through the crown of the head. Sit up nice and tall. You can relax in the face, relax in the shoulders. We'll just take a moment here to just start to connect, to start to tune into the breath. Start to feel what it's like to be alive right now. What is it like to be you today in this moment? What's going on for you? What are you feeling in your body? What are you feeling in the mind? What are you feeling in your soul? Being honest with yourself without judgment, without expectation. Starting to notice the breath, and if it feels right for you, start to deepen that breath, taking longer, extended inhales, letting that carry into the length of your exhales. Starting to really connect to the breath, which in turn helps us connect to our present moment. And that's really all we're practicing here. The physical practice, the asanas, that is one tool to bring us back to presence. But really what all yoga practice is, excuse me, yoga and meditation is coming back to presence, coming back to mindfulness, being aware of what is going on in our bodies and in our external environment so that we can more fully and more awakened navigate our life. You know, we can kind of move through this crazy human experience with a little more awareness of what's going on in our body and how things around us are affecting our body and our minds, and how we are projecting ourselves out into the world and how we are affecting others in that world. So it all just comes back to mindfulness, connecting to that breath. Beautiful work. You're welcome to bring in some Ujjayi breathing if you like that in your practice. This is done by firing up the muscles in the back of the throat, so those same muscles you use when you're fogging up a window, that kind of sound. But you do that as you breathe in and out of the nose. So it creates this oceanic sound, a kind of whisper breath or Darth Vader breath, whatever you want to call it. It gives us that audible tune, or the audible sound to tune into, and it helps us to deeper connect. It gives us a little more of an anchor to really connect to that breath, to bring us in that present moment. And staying connected to the breath, we'll just start to bring in some subtle movements. So we'll start just with some torso circles. So keeping the shoulders and the hips in line, just kind of start to move in a clockwise circle through the torso. Now for me, this is bringing in a little bit of spiciness in my low back through various activities. My low back is a little tight right now, so this kind of gentle movement is just starting to wake it up. Just let it know it's gonna see some action. Hopefully it'll get a little bit of a release. But staying aware of that sensation. Nice, and when you're ready, just reverse the direction of those circles, so taking them in the opposite direction. So you can see that these moves aren't very big right now. You know, we're not throwing ourselves around, we're kind of keeping the shoulders and the hips aligned, and we're just working on the circling of the ribs. Awesome work. Coming back to neutral, now we're going to take these circles a little bit bigger, so we're going to bring some shoulder movement in with it, but keeping that spine nice and straight. So we're going to come over towards the right. The hands can drop down towards the ground, or they could hover. So as you start to circle around, again, these will be much bigger. The hands can find the ground for some support, or they could hover as you draw the belly in, finding a little more core activation. So these circles are much larger, but we've still got that squared base through the hips, so the hips aren't lifting. The shoulders and the spine kind of keep the same alignment as we just circle through the hips, circle through the torso. So most of the movement is coming from the spine, from the low back. And tune into that side body. Awesome work. Now, as we circle around next time to the left, we're going to plant the left hand, swim the right arm up and over, and find a side body stretch. Hips are still grounded, so notice if that right hip starts to lift. Really ground it down, opening up through the sides. So really expand here. Feel that space created in between the ribs and the hips, stretching into the intercostal muscles of the ribs, maybe even extending, maybe even feel it in the armpit, in the arm as it extends out. Continue to breathe. Beautiful work. Now we're just going to reverse the direction of the circles. So we're going to drop the right hand down as we start to circle around through center. Ooh, got a little tin tweak in my back. As we circle around to the other side. So again, the hands can be on the knees. They could be down on the ground for a little more support, or they could hover for a little more core activation. We're not moving through the hips. Again, this movement is mostly coming through the spine and through the support of the core. So we've got the belly drawing in and the sides are activated. So everything's kind of drawing in towards center. Beautiful work. Now, as we swing around to the right, we're going to plant the right hand on the ground, swim the left arm up and over, finding that side stretch. Check in with that left hip. Notice if it's lifted off the ground or off the heel. Plant it back down. Really ground down through that left hip as you extend and open up through that left side body. Continue to breathe. Beautiful work. When you're ready, we'll come back up through center. Now we're going to raise up on the knees here. So maybe you need to adjust, maybe bring in a little more cushion for the knees. You can remove the prop if you were sitting on it. Awesome work. So now we've got the hips, the shoulders, the hips, and the knees all in line. We're going to inhale, send the arms out to the side, reach them up towards the sky. On the exhale, we're going to release the right hand down towards the ground as we extend the left leg out. Awesome work. Inhale, come back up through center as you draw that left leg in. And take it to the other side. Left hand drops, right hand reaches over as you extend out through the right leg. Beautiful work. Now, if you need, you can draw that knee in first before you start to raise up. But we're really using that strength in the obliques here. Take it nice and slow. Side to side, getting that extension through the whole side body. Beautiful work. Take it slow, tune into your body. Only go as far as feels okay for you. We're not worried about reps. We're not counting here. We're just flowing. Nice work. One more to each side. And then next time you find yourself right hand planted, left leg extended, let's pause here. Really open up, exaggerate this stretch. Root down through the outer left edge of the foot, all the way up through the leg, through the side body, out through the fingertips. Now at first, keeping that left foot planted, we'll inhale to lengthen. On the exhale, we're going to bend the elbow, and as we bring the elbow down towards the hip, we're going to bring the rib and hip together. So a little side crunch here. And inhale to extend. Exhale, elbow bends, little side crunch. Inhale, extend. Awesome work. You can stay here like this. You could also hover that left leg. Ooh, adding a little more spiciness to it. Or if you'd like, you can bend the knee and raise it in, as long as you're still getting that side bending. So as we bend the knee, it wants to come more towards the chest, so there might be a tendency to want to fold forward. Let's try to avoid that. We're still working that side body. So I think I'm going to leave that leg extended and just work on that side crunch. Ooh, that is a challenge. Awesome work. Let's do one more. Inhale to extend and exhale to crunch. Nice work. Inhale, reach it out. Lower that left leg if it was extended. And exhale. Release back towards center. Whew, nice work. Just feel into that one side since we've just worked that. Just notice the difference. Maybe there's a little heat building in the body. My apartment's really warm, so it's hard for me to know if it's just from the temperature in the room or from the activity, but got a little bit of blood pumping too, so I think some of it's from the activity. Awesome work. We'll take it to the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, come up onto the knees, hips shift forward, reach both arms up. And exhale, release the left hand down. Right leg extends, planting that right foot on the ground, really pressing into the outer edge of that right foot, lengthening all the way through that right side body. Arm extends out. Ooh, full side body stretch. Yeah, that feels good. You can kind of press the hips forward to get a little bit into the hip flexor. Find your breath. Beautiful work. Now we're gonna work on that little side oblique. I don't want to necessarily call them crunches because we're contracting one side to lengthen the other. So right now this right side is lengthening. On the exhale, we're gonna bend the elbow and we're gonna contract, bringing the rib and the hip together as the elbow comes down. Inhale, extend and open, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Awesome work. So again, you can stay here, planting that left or right foot in towards the ground. You could hover that right foot. You could also crunch the knee in. As long as, again, we're not bringing it forward, knee and elbow, but we're keeping that side activation here. Linking the breath, exhaling to crunch, inhaling to lengthen. Awesome work. Let's do one more. Inhale to lengthen, release that right foot down, and come back to center. Lovely work. Just feel into that. I was feeling that kind of in the outer low back area. Awesome work. When you're ready, we're going to come forward to hands and knees. We're going to find a tabletop here, really planting into the hands, spreading out through the fingers, Press the ground away, lift through the back of the heart, tuck through the chin, tuck through the tail, really round out, lifting the heart up, finding our cat pose here. Belly drawing in. Now from here, we'll take those torso circles that we did seated, but we'll have a little more range of motion here. So just start to circle down and around. Ooh, that feels good. Making these circles as big or as small as you'd like. Nice work. When you're ready, just reversing the direction of the circles. Feel free to really exaggerate it here. Nice work. And then as you feel ready, we'll come back to neutral. We're going to prop the toes, lengthen through the spine, draw the belly in, hug ribs in. Nice and slow as you press the ground away through the hands, through the balls of the feet, start to hug the knees. Continue to lengthen through the spine as the hips lift. The chest comes through and towards the thighs, head comes between the biceps, and we find our first downward dog. Take the feet a little wider here, and then really pedal through the feet. So root down through the right heel as you bend to the left, maybe even shifting to the side, getting a little side body stretch. Switching it out. Awesome work. Rooting both heels down. And depending on the size of your feet, maybe even taking the feet a little wider. And then we're going to shift both heels over towards the right and plant them down. Pressing through the left hand, lengthening through the left side body. A little variation on a downward dog here. Awesome work. When you're ready, bring the heels back towards center and then shifting them over towards the left, planting the heels down, really reaching through the right hand to exaggerate that stretch in the right side body. Find the breath, continue to breathe. Beautiful work. Bring the heels back towards neutral. We'll inhale to look up at the hands, and then we'll start to walk the hands forward. Keeping a nice bend in the knees. Coming towards a forward fold. Nice work here. Releasing through the head and neck, maybe shaking the head yes and no. You can pedal through the feet. Soften the knees. You can bend the knees as much as you like here. You could bring blocks in here to bring the ground closer. Kind of fill in that space if you'd like. Alright, now we're going to slowly start to toe the feet out a little bit wider than hip distance. And then nice and slow, we're going to roll up ragdoll style. Planting in the feet, rolling up one vertebrae at a time towards standing pose. Arms can dangle where they can walk up the legs. Awesome work. So we've got the feet a little wider here. Inhale, send the arms out and overhead. And then we're going to bend the elbows. Grab opposite elbows. Doesn't matter if arms in front because we'll do both sides. Hope you can still see me. I'm getting cut off a little bit of the head. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, arch it over towards the left. Inhale, center. And arch it towards the right. Just do one more like that. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Using the strength in the obliques. Exhale, right. Alright, now we're going to take a full circle. So inhale, center. Exhale as you come to the left. Take it nice and slow. You're going to get that side stretch. You're going to start to bow forward. Continue to lengthen through the side. We're going to circle around the center and engage in that core as you come over towards the right. Find that left side body stretch. Using the obliques to come back up through center. Awesome work. We'll repeat. Over Taking it over towards the left, or excuse me, towards the right. Raising back up. Last one on this side. Not side stretch. Dropping down. Take it nice and slow. We're not using momentum here. We're not throwing the body around. As you raise up, pause at center. Awesome work. Notice which arm is crossed in front. Inhale, extend through the arms. Exhale, recross opposite direction. And then we'll take those circles in the opposite direction. But first, let's inhale to lengthen. Exhale over to the right. Inhale back up through center. Exhale to the left. One more like that. Inhale center. Exhale right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Now we'll take those full circles. Inhale center. Exhale start to arch it over towards the right. And then start to lower down. Dropping the chest with control. Rounding through center. And we'll stretch in the legs and the hamstrings. Rolling down towards the feet to find that strength to press up as we raise up, engaging in that right oblique. And taking it to the other side as we circle around. Nice and slow. We are building strength. We are building flexibility. We are building stability. Last one as we circle up and around. Back up through center. Nice work. Inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky. And exhale, release it down nice and slow towards your forward fold. Beautiful work. So we'll toe heel the feet in towards center. Again, you can bring blocks in to bring the ground closer, or you can bend the knees so you can touch the ground. We're going to step the right foot behind the left, planting the right foot with a little crisscross here. And we're going to walk the hands over towards the left. So we're shifting the weight over towards the right to get a full side body stretch, starting with the outer right leg, coming up through the hip, and then as we reach around with that right hand over towards the left side, continuing that full side body stretch. Lovely. Breathe into this. Beautiful work. When you're ready, starting to walk the hands back towards center. We'll uncross through the feet, and we'll take it to the other side. So hands start to walk to the right as we step the left foot behind us, planting the foot. The feet can be touching, they can have some distance between them, whatever feels right for you. We're going to shift the hip over towards the left to really exaggerate that side body stretch in the leg. And then we're going to walk the hands over towards the right to accentuate that side body stretch in the upper body. So hopefully we're feeling this at least from ribs down to the hips, but maybe even full side body from the fingertips down to the toes. Continue to breathe. Beautiful work. When you're ready, start to walk the hands back towards center, and then uncrossing through the legs. Beautiful work. Inhale, half lift, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, fold it in and plant the hands. We're going to walk the feet back to a plank pose. So same hands as we had in our hands and knees in our tabletop. Really spreading out through the hands, press the ground away, lengthening through the spine. You're welcome to lower the knees down into half plank. You can also bring the knees underneath the hips in our tabletop plank. Whichever variation you're taking, we're drawing the belly in, hugging the ribs in, hugging the side body in, so everything comes in towards center. And then we're just going to do little tick cocks for the hips. So we're not doing full-on dips here. Just subtle little movements, little tick-tocks. Nice work. Building up that strength in the obliques. Again, the knees are raised or the knees are lowered. So you can do the low back. Beautiful work. When you're ready, hips back towards neutral. Shift the chest back towards the thighs, head towards biceps, or head between biceps as you come to another downward dog. And you're pedaling through the feet, shaking the head out. Beautiful work. When you are ready, if you would like, rooting down through that left heel, we're going to inhale the right leg up towards the sky. Bend the knee heel towards the glute, and then lift the knee up towards the ceiling as you stack the hips. A little hip opener here. Awesome work. Inhale to re-extend your leg. Exhale, we're going to step the foot between the hands. Around so that you're facing in front. All right, so we're on this low lunge. We're going to cartwheel the hand, windmilling. So left hand comes forward and then raises up and back, and we come into a reverse warrior. So left hand comes down, right arm reaches up towards the sky. Knees are bent. You let that front knee either in line or behind the ankle. Root down towards the feet, using the lower body to root down to give us strength to raise up. So we're lengthening up to that side body, opening up through the hips. Nice work. A little oblique crunching here. So building up a little more strength there. Left hand, I can just kind of be doing whatever it wants to do. Right hand, we're going to inhale to lengthen. With the knees bent, exhale. We're going to bring the right elbow towards the right knee, getting that oblique crunch. Inhale, re-extend, reverse warrior. Exhale. A side angle crunch here. Awesome work. One more. And then exhale, we're going to come down into our side angle. So the right elbow is going to come down to the right knee. Left arm can reach out or over. But notice we're lengthening through the whole side body. Pressing into the outer edge of the left foot. Doing that nice side stretch. Opening up through the ribs here. So we're expanding the ribs and the hips away from each other to get that side body stretch. Beautiful work. When you're ready, inhale to cartwheel the hands back towards neutral. We're going to straighten through that front leg. So we're going to triangle, but we're going to take it nice and slow, and we're going to look at the difference in the obliques from side angle to triangle. So from triangle, we've got that right leg straight, and the hip is drawing in, which is going to kind of kick that left hip out. We want to keep the spine nice and straight, and on the left, the ribs and hip are drawing together. So arms extended, we're going to reach out as far as we can, and without changing anything in the body, just release the arms down. Now tune into those obliques here. In side angle, we're separating the hips and the ribs, so we're opening up there. In triangle, we're drawing the ribs and hips together, so there's a little crunch there as we open up into our triangle. Awesome work. So right hand can come down towards the shin, towards the block, maybe towards the ground. As long as it doesn't cause you to fall forward or draw the shoulders out of alignment with the hips, or to open up through that side of the body. Nice work. When you're ready, we're going to once again windmill the hands up to a reverse triangle, so that front leg stays straight. As we reach up and out of the side body, not right side, and make some length here. Awesome work. One more deep inhale. Exhale, we're cartwheeling the hands all the way down towards the ground, pivoting on that back heel, drawing the right foot back to our plank pose. If chaturanga is part of your practice, feel free to take that. If not, just lift the hips. Downward dog. Awesome work. We'll just take that on the other side. And then we'll settle into our restorative part. Lovely, lovely, lovely. From your downward dog, we'll root down through that right foot. Inhale to extend the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, heel toward the glute. Knee lifts towards the ceiling as the hips start to stack. Nice work. Inhale, re-extend the leg. Exhale, step the foot between the hands. Take your time too. You can lower that back knee down. You may have to physically place that foot. There are lots of different reasons why that step through could be a challenge. So just start with what you got. Awesome. So we're in this nice slow lunge. When you're ready, as we root down towards the feet, strengthen the core. We're going to inhale to cartwheel the hands all the way to reverse warriors. That back or the front knee stays bent. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Right arm reaches down. Again, we're rooting down towards the feet, drawing energy up from that rooting down. Root to rise. That upward energy is lifting from the hips up to find this length. Nice work. Now from here, we're going to bring in those oblique crunches, but more thinking of contracting and expanding. So you got the right hand, you can do whatever you want. Left hand, inhale, reach up. Exhale, left elbow, left knee. Open through the chest to get that side crunch. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, work those obliques. Woo-wee. Nice work. One more. Inhale, reach and extend. And exhale, release all the way down to your side angle. So left elbow, left knee. And we're expanding. We're opening up between the ribs and the hips. Getting this big stretch through that left side or to your right side body. Pay attention to that left shoulder. We don't want to drop to that shoulder. We don't want to, just kind of hang out here. We don't want the torso resting on the thighs. We're really pressing away. So we're creating space here and we're activating through the shoulder. As we get this full side body stretch, rooting down through the outer edge of that right foot, all the way out through the right fingertips. Nice work. When you're ready, come in. Inhale, we're going to cartwheel the hands straight through the front leg as we come to set up our triangle. So arms along the horizon. Straight into that front leg, drawing that left hip back, right hip kind of shoots out. Remember, we're keeping that strength in the spine, and we're on the right side, we're drawing the hip and the ribs together. So the opposite of what we're doing in the cycle. So from here, arms extend. Reach out as far as you can without changing the shape of the body. Release the hands down. Left hand to the shin, to the thigh, to the ground. Go block. Right arm doing whatever. Reaching up, reaching back. But what we're focusing on here is the right rib and hip drawing together. So it's not opening up like side angle. These two are coming together to bring in that support. Awesome. I'm sweating. I don't know about you. But it feels good. Definitely feeling those obliques. One more deep round of breath. Keeping the legs as they are. Finding strength in the obliques. Inhale. Cartwheel the hands up to reverse triangle. Ooh, really feeling that left hip. Lengthening through the whole side body. One more deep inhale. And exhale. Cartwheeling the hands all the way down. Drawing that left foot back to plank pose. Again, if chaturanga is part of your practice, feel free to take that. We're going to downward dog. One deep inhale. And then exhale, nice and slow. How we came into our first downward dog. Start to bend the knees. Keep the length in the spine so the chest will kind of shift forward. Head lifts. Then slowly start to lower the knees. Untuck through the toes. Send the hips. Find a child's pose. Awesome work. Arms can be extending overhead. You could flip the palms up, releasing through the shoulders. You could also bring the hands back by the feet, releasing through the scapulas, whatever feels right for you here. Beautiful work. Nice and slow as you feel ready to start to walk the hands back. Walk up through our hero's pose. And then we're just going to swing the legs out. Come to a seat. I've got one last little bit of core for you. So before we take this, let's take the feet a little wider than hip distance, grabbing onto the knees. And just take a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, descend the chest forward, gaze lifts, heart lifts, and exhale, round it out. Just a little reset through the spine. And when you're ready, when you find yourself rounding out, just take it all the way down to the ground. Find a little core activation as you round out. Hands can walk down the legs. They could reach out, or they could release down to the ground for support. All right, the last little bit of core work I've got for you. We're going to keep the knees bent. We'll walk the heels up. So we're kind of setting up for a bridge pose. If you're about hip distance, if it would feel good, you can lift the hips, tilt the pelvis down, and set the hips back down to help kind of neutralize through the low back. That can be a nice little release. All right, now from here, we're either reaching the fingers down towards the heels, or if you do need some support for the neck, you could bring the hands back behind the head and release through the fingers to support the head and elbows stay open. We're going to inhale to raise the head, neck, and shoulders up off the ground. Exhale, we're going to reach out through the right fingertips or through the right elbow as we kind of crunch, or we've got that contraction through the right oblique, extension to the left. Come back through center. Inhale, exhale to the left, either reaching out through the right or left fingertips or left elbow, and back through center. So if hands are reaching out, we're keeping the chest open. Actually, both. Whether you're using the head or the hands to support the head, the chest is really open here. And we're really working to use the obliques. We're not faking our crunching here, faking our activation. Nice work. Take one more to each side. All right, now we're going to reach the arms overhead if that feels okay. Let's release the head and neck down for a second. So you can keep the hands behind the head, elbows open if you'd like, or you could reach the arms overhead. Pressing into the feet, drawing belly down, inhale, raise the head, neck, and shoulders up off the ground. Exhale, we're going to bring the right arm across the body as we crunch to the right. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, left arm across the body as we crunch. And inhale. All right, so either arms are reaching across the body to get that oblique activation, or elbows are crossing, but we're still keeping that chest open. So you can easily fake this twist, this twisting crunch. But we don't want to fake it. We want that activation. All right, I promise we're going to get to the restore part. Let's just take one more to each side. All right, last little bit of core, kicking in your core butt. Release down. down, relax down. Awesome work. All right. How's obliques feeling? I'm definitely feeling it. So let's get into some nice surrender stretching here. So when you're ready, we'll just rock onto one side of the body and press ourselves up. And then this is where you're going to want either a bolster or a blanket, a nice thick blanket that's going to raise you up a few good inches. So we're going to take that, we're going to sit on the right side of the hip, and then we're going to drape ourselves over our prop. And as we do, we want to get a lift in the side body and the ribs. And then as we lower the head down on the other side of our prop, you could rest the head on the bicep if that right arm is extended. You could bring in a pillow or a block or something, but make sure that there's space with the right shoulder to hit the ground. And then we're getting this nice side stretch to that left side body. So if you feel good, you can even extend the left arm overhead. Maybe even grabbing the left wrist with the right hand if that position works for you. And you can play with what's going on with the legs. The legs could extend. So we've got this support here to allow us to release into that right side body and to try to find just a little more space and opening through that left side body. So we've been doing a lot of work with one side contracting, one side lengthening, so both sides are working. Now here we want both sides to relax, to release. Now we don't often think about our side bodies. It's not something that, unless they're sore, unless they're injured, we don't often think about our sides. We, think about the core strengthening, we think about the low back, and we sometimes forget about the sides. And that can happen off the mat too, not just in the physical sense. Sometimes we get so caught up on what's in front of us, where future holds, so caught up in what's behind us, what we've been through, or caught up in the past. We don't really notice what is there by our side, what is there supporting us, what is there holding us together. So as we're here, just giving some love and attention to our side body, maybe think for a moment, what may be in your peripheral vision, something that, a person, an activity, an event, a thing, whatever it is, something that is supportive, something that is there by your side, that you may not always recognize, you may not always acknowledge as you should. And just take this moment to acknowledge it, to thank it, to be grateful for the person, the place, the thing, whatever it is. Let's take a moment of gratitude here for the things that support us, that are there on our sides to catch us if we need. That may not be in our direct line of vision, that is still there to support. Awesome. Just one more round of breath on this side. And as you feel ready, making your way up and out of the side bend. And then however you'd like to transition, you could shift onto the sit bones, maybe take another round of seated cat-cow, maybe take some little movements here. And then you can simply just shift onto the left side of the body. I'm going to flip my prop around, just so that I am facing you. Once again, coming onto the left side of the hip. And then as we drape our left side body over our prop, we've got that space for the left shoulder to find ground. The head either releases down towards the ground. You could release onto the left bicep. You could release onto a blanket, a block, some sort of prop. Finding whatever position for that right arm works best for you on this side. Maybe it's finding a little more extension, reaching the arm up and overhead, but maybe that's too much. Maybe that's not what your body's feeling right now. Taking whatever position with the legs works for you. Again, knees could be bent, they could be staggered, legs could be extended. Whatever feels best to get into the side body so that and we can release and surrender. We're also having support and awareness. And again, I encourage you while you're here to maybe think of something or someone that stands by your side, that supports you, that maybe you haven't recognized or haven't brought recognition to in a while. It's so easy to get caught up on what was right in front of us or what was right directly behind us, and we don't always see what's in our side vision, what's in our peripheral. And sometimes those things are, or those people are the ones that have been walking alongside us the whole time. We may have been so caught up in looking forward or looking back that we didn't look to our side to see who's traveling the journey with us or what is supporting us on our journeys. Just take a moment to acknowledge, to thank, to recognize, witness, and love. Stay in tune with the body as we hold poses. There's a natural release that might take us a little too far, a little too deep. So we never want to force. We want to allow the pose to be what it needs to be for the body, but not force anything. Not expect anything. Just let it be. Nice work. As you feel ready, nice and slow. Oh, really slow for me. We'll take our time to make our way up and out of the deep side stretch. Oh, lovely, lovely. For our last pose, please choice if you want to come into
this. So this is not only a great stretch for the hip flexors, but it's a nice release for the low back. Stretch for the front side of the core. Arms can be doing whatever they like here. You can keep the feet planted. You can draw the knees in towards the chest, lifting the feet up off the ground. You also extend the leg towards the sky. That takes a little more into a leg release, less into the hip flexors, but if that feels better, that low back, please take that. If the feet more the hip flexors, awesome. Take a step further by extending maybe just one leg at a time, kind of filling into that. That does increase the arch in the low back, a little bit of back bending. But perhaps extending those legs out one at a time or together to get a little deeper into that hip flexor, a little more into the low back. But just stay aware. So however you like to do this, just for about a minute, maybe a little less, about 7 minutes of breath. Whenever you feel ready, replanting the feet if they traveled away. Bring down towards the feet, down towards the shoulders. Find that support, maybe even engaging in the core a bit to lift the hips just high enough to slide that prop out from underneath. Nice and slow, setting the hips back down. Nice. We're going to start to set a fresh Shavasana. But if there's any movements you'd like to take to settle in, feel free. For me, a little bit of windshield wipers would feel good here. Dropping the knees side to side. You could take a happy baby. You could take anything that the body's craving. This is one opportunity to really tune in. Whatever it is that it's asking for. And then I'll start to make our way to Shavasana. We'll only be there for about a minute. But our Shavasana, the intent behind it is to get into a pose, into a position where we can fully surrender, where we can just let the body go, let the breath go, and hopefully let the mind go. So you're welcome to stay here, lying on the back, knees can stay bent, you can slide a prop underneath the knees if that feels better, you could wrap up in a blanket, you can use props to support you in any way. And if lying on the back doesn't feel awesome, feel free to lie on the side, lie on your belly, any position where you feel like you could release. So even if that's a seated meditation or sitting up in a chair, take your time to get there, and when you do, just allow yourself to let go. Give yourself permission to simply be here for the next minute, not doing anything, not feeling that pressure to check off your to-do list or to wear a certain hat, play a certain role. Just really dedicate just 60 seconds to just being yourself, to being with yourself, and letting yourself just be. do have more time to dedicate to your Shavasana, please do take as much time as you can. Give yourself the gift of this continued time to just be, to accept things as they are, even if just for this moment, to find a little bit of peace. And if you're ready to wrap up your practice with me, slowly start to bring some movement back into the body. If you're lying down and not already there, start to shift to one side of the body, pausing for just a moment in a nurturing pose, offering yourself some gratitude for carving out this time, for stepping on your mat, having the strength and the courage to dive into this beautiful, sacred, ancient practice. Just to help you get to know you, which is a beautiful and challenging journey that lasts a lifetime. And each day you step on your mat, you continue that journey. Offer up some thanks for your willingness, for your dedication, for your awareness. As you fully gently start to press your way back up to a comfortable seat. I'll invite you to bring the hands to the heart center, either placing the hand on the heart or bringing the hands into prayer, or any other meaningful gesture you'd like to take with the hands. Thank you so much for allowing me into your homes today to share